I use the terms, these are my words. I say, a business is a lifestyle business versus an equity business. But there came a turning point for you somewhere along the lines that, and feel free to fill in any gaps where it was, we're at $1 million, $2 million of revenue, and it's time to grow. It's time to take this step up. Where was that initial turning point? And then where does Jonathan come into the story?
Well, I think it has to do, there's a lot of factors in play. And I'll start with kind of the most shallow factor, which is our generation, the millennial generation. Like, we're fascinated with Facebook or any social feed. For millennials, you're going to see these pictures of these $15 million mansions of like, this is success. This is what, you could do. And there's this cultural change for millennials, I think, from, where it went from the baby boomers of, hey, let's create a good family that can put food on the table. Because before that, putting food on the table was a success in itself, to millennials being very materialistic and wanting to just, really, it's ego, right? Who has the biggest business? You go to these business seminars back before COVID, and it's always the same conversation. What's your revenue? I mean, that's a question that everyone asks, and it's always comes down to this ego and millennials. And I think it's changing a little bit with Generation Z. They're getting a little more humble, but millennials and even the X generation, we're very materialistic. So at first it was kind of this ego driven thing of like, I want to build a giant business. But it quickly became a deeper purpose for me of, I want to create jobs for my community. I want to create success and a legacy for my family. I want to give my family and my extended family, my friends and my community, a place where they can go and get a job, put their heart and soul into it, and create a career, create a destination company where people really can exceed their limitations and exceed their expectations of what success really is. So, it starts with materialistic and ego, and it quickly becomes a necessity and a deeper purpose of providing opportunity for my family. Because let's go back to 07, 08, and I saw my family, my aunts and uncles, struggling because they couldn't find jobs and they were unemployed, and so many of my friends and relatives were affected by that. I wanted to create a stable business that people can go to and be able to put their life's work into and be successful. So it really transformed into something bigger, and the bigger the business, the more impact you will have. So that's really kind of the purpose of the growth, is it came down to having a stable place that our family and my community can go to be successful.
So Michael, I showed up at what would have been, I guess, an inflection point in Justin just getting the title of CEO, and I think it was probably in the first 9 months we worked together. You got that title, Justin?
Yeah.
And it was also an inflection point of, hey, because I remember my first question is, what specific measurable results do you want to get from our coaching together? And at the time, he was like, I want a roadmap for how to build this into a $5 million company. And so that was 2.5, 3x what they were currently doing. And so we needed to put that roadmap together. And, that was an inflection point. Like, there's never been a dip since. It's been I don't know what the 35% maybe compounded annual growth rate every year there since. So I think that what's the expression? The student meets the teacher when the student is ready. And so, it was just before a perfect storm.
Right.
He was ready, and I showed up, and it was a trial run to begin. So he was testing it out. His mom was probably not so in favor. His dad was like, I'm not so sure about this. And he was like, I need this. And my concept has always been, what got you here isn't going to get you there. And I'm not suggesting that I'm the rich dad and the other dad was the poor dad, but like, you need that other, like, whether that's a father, coach, mentor type figure who's going to provide some alternative perspective and take a stand for that other person you want to become, or for that person you want to become, sorry.